Hi, this is another episode of Let's Get Social, and I'm Dee Scrow, and today I have my new business partner, Eric Spada.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Eric.
No problem.
Today I wanted to talk about, the power of positivity and how that, can help in your personal life and business. The reason I want to talk about this episode is because, we have people on our team, going through some tough times personally. And, even myself, I had a, pretty crappy week last week. And I don't have, any problems in my home per se. Mm-hmm. Everything is smooth. It's like the outside, the stress of all that takes a toll, right? Like, for example, I could be meeting a friend for coffee and, she's telling me about all the stuff that's going on and it's all bad, negative. And how much that affects like me just listening to it, even though it's not even my problem, right? Like yesterday, I had a confrontation with, a family member, and I literally had to stop and I had to go for just a drive, just to clear my head, right? And I realized how much a weight on my shoulders. I didn't even want to work. I wanted to go back into bed and just lie there and just sleep, Is that a good thing? No, because I realized that when you're so full of negative things, watching the news, it's negative.
I stopped watching the news.
Well, that's the thing. And
stopped.
I've literally, my mom was like, oh, did you watch this? This happened. I'm like, no. And then she's like, oh, you don't watch the news. I'm like, no, I don't.
Steph and I used to have this, not at 6 o'clock because we got the kids and we had to put them to bed and all that other stuff. But whatever time it was, we would record it, and we still record it. But I have not watched the news legitimately, and it's got to be 5 months.
Right.
It's got to be. I'm just I'm so sick of it. I'm over it. If it wasn't, 10,000, whatever you want to call it, episodes or what do they call those things? Whatever it is of COVID, right? They're going to cover coverages, right, of COVID. Then it was, and I'm not saying this stuff is not important, but then it was the war. And then it was the negativity here in the housing market and and it's like, holy shnikes, Batman.
Yeah.
Can we just settle for a hot minute and just be like, let's stop focusing in on all the negative stuff. But, I think, what you said about your events yesterday, coffee and the negativity, I think maybe that's just because of your personality. And your personality is that you care. And because you care, you take that burden on. And so, from a subconscious perspective, you're probably internalizing whatever you heard.
Yeah.
Whatever and you maybe you thought about it for a second, a minute, an hour, who knows? But you were probably at some point going, "Oh my God, I can't believe," or "I wonder," or "What if," or "Maybe they should have." And so you're stressing your inside, your inner being, trying to figure out how to help the person.
Right. And I'm not one for confrontation. I will keep the peace. I go to infrared therapy every week. And she had told me last week when I was there that I need to work on, it's hard for me to say no to people.
Mm-hmm. Can I borrow some money, please?
I could say no easily there. No, but, if, say, for example, you're like, oh, can you watch my kids? And I really don't want to watch.
We have a babysitter.
Yeah. And oh my God, your daughter's so cute. Actually, your son's so cute too.
We have a secondary mom.
Right? But if you said to me, can you watch my kids?
Yeah.
My wife and I really want to have, a night out. And I was busy doing things. I would not be able to say, I would find a way.
Yeah.
I would be like, okay, you know what? he really wants to go out with his wife, and, I'm so tired, but I'm just going to do it. Is that the right thing to do? No. Like last week when I was at my infrared therapy, Carolyn had said to me, maybe you should, take your nieces and nephew out apple picking. So I said, I go, you know what? I did go apple picking. She's like, oh, you did? I said, yeah, actually I went a couple of weeks ago. And I said, I should have brought you some apples. So then I go, now I feel so bad because I didn't bring them to you. And she stopped me right there. She goes, why do you feel guilty? Right. She goes, if you really wanted to bring me apples, you would have brought them. So that wasn't your intention to bring them to me, which is okay.
Right.
And you don't have to feel guilty. I didn't know that you went apple picking. Had you had called me and said, hey, Carolyn, I went apple picking yesterday. I'm going to bring you apples tomorrow morning, and you didn't, that's a different story.
Sure.
She goes, but now you're feeling guilty because now I know you went apple picking and you have 1,000 apples at your door.
Pretty much.
And you didn't think about bringing them to me?
So I struggle with this. So I'm given a nickname by our circle called the Martyr, because I'll drop whatever I got to do and help you out. And I don't ask for help, even though I may need it. I just don't want to be a burden on anybody or impose. But I think what that is I think that's an internal thing where that whole Apple scenario, it's like, ooh, I wonder what they're thinking of me because I didn't bring them apples and they would have probably brought me apples.
Right.
So now I'm like the bad person.
Yes.
And so we go through this complex set of internalizations and self-characteristics and whatnot. And it's all wrong. It's all wrong because, if you're a good person, you're a good person. Doesn't matter if you bring an apple or not. You're a good person because you're a good person in other ways. But I think it's just we are so hard on ourselves to be the best at every single thing, be above bar, be revered, if you will, if that's even the right adjective to use, but in such a term that people go, oh my God, Dee is always thinking about everybody else. And then that one time you didn't think about that one person. You're like, my whole world is crashing down. I'm going to be judged on this one event.
Yeah.
Carolyn, what is it, Carolyn? Yeah. I brought Carolyn tea every single week. And the one thing I didn't bring apples, oh my God, she's going to hate me. She's going to charge me double. She doesn't want me as a client. Oh my God, she's going to tell everybody I didn't bring her apples. Doesn't matter. I brought her tea every week. We're our own worst critics.
But why are we like that? Why?
Because we care.
And it's like, obviously it's something I need to work on, but like, does anybody else feel that way? Like,
are you asking a question? Like, can you text her now? No.
Yeah. Can you
drop a comment?
Drop a comment.
Now.
Like,
now.
No, but like we all know that when you're feeling negative, like I know for myself, when I, call someone and I've they told me something or I just didn't agree with it and it's on my mind, like I can't function properly. Like I'll look at a deal and it's like, I'm so mentally drained and it doesn't feel good. Like when you have negativity, you just, you don't feel good at all. You're tired, you're miserable, You're exhausted. And yet when things are going great, like our business is going great, we're excited, we're doing all these things, it's like we feel like light as air.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
We have all this energy.
Conquer the world.
And all this, our creative flows keep going. And why is it so easy to fall back into being negative when it doesn't feel good?
Well, because that's the easy way to do it. Right. So being good, a good person to everybody, regardless of what they do to you, is hard. Fighting fire with fire, eye for an eye, tooth for tooth is easy. You call me a prick, I call you a prick. That's easy. You call me a prick and I go, you know what, Dee? You're entitled to your opinion. And truly, in the core, believe what I'm saying. You're entitled to your opinion, D. I'm sorry you feel that way. If I've done anything to make you feel that, please, like, that's hard. That's hard to do day in, day out, minute in, minute out, right? You have, look, we're married, not to each other, but marriage is tough.
Yeah.
And you've been married almost 25 years, and I know you and Vito are madly in love still, but I'm sure there was one day, one time, one argument 24 and a half years ago where he said something or you said something to him, and it was like...
It's funny you said that, because I will remember something for like 20 years ago, and he's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Well, that's a woman.
Like, he's like,
Do you remember that time?
Yeah.
What?
And he's like, oh, yeah. And it's so funny. And I'll go into actual detail. And
it's not funny during the time. Trust me, it's not funny during the time.
No, but it's...
My wife got mad at me once. We got into an argument. I love you. We got into an argument, and legit, it was like 2 weeks later, and she brought it up, and I'm like, huh? That's why you're mad at me? And it was like legit. And I was like, oh my shit. Like 2 weeks ago, I said something, or I acted a certain way or whatever. I'm like, okay.
But I do that. Communication.
Yeah.
Communication is key. We've discussed this with our team, how important communication is.
Absolutely.
And, I found, even with my husband, he knows now when I'm upset about something, because I literally go from happy to just like, okay, what do you want to eat? I'm like, it doesn't matter. What do you want to watch? Whatever you want. It's like, and he's like, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
And it's like, I don't say to him, this is the reason why I'm upset.
Yeah.
Right? I let it go.
Well, because you don't want to cause conflict.
And this is the thing. And it's the wrong thing to do.
So then it eats you up inside.
And it eats me up inside. And then he'll finally send me an email, detailed email, what's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, my creative juices go in. It's like a freaking novel sent back. And then I look at it, and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds so mean. So then I correct it. And then it's like, okay, hold on.
Then the pixie dust and the fairy dust comes out, and the sprinkle of sugar.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I don't want to keep it going. But then it's so wrong that I do that, because even in our business relationship, I want to be able to, if you've done something that I didn't like, or if you said something that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, I want to be able to say something to you without worrying about upsetting you. And this is my biggest thing, is I worry about
the other person,
even though I'm completely bothered. And I don't know why. I find that, when I say something to someone, say someone has sent me an email and I didn't like it, there's something in there, and what I really want to say, I'm like, I can't.
Do you not write the email back and just don't send it? That's a form of therapy, legit.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. So you get an email, and let's just say it's a client, right? And whatever the client's name is, they were difficult, they were this, they were that, whatever, and you did, to the core, heart of hearts, hand on God, you did everything right. You were patient, you were this or that, and they're accusing you. Maybe they're like, oh, am I not important to you, or whatever. If you legitimately don't respond, just even I do it too. So you take out you hit reply, but then take out their name. So if you accidentally hit send,
oh my God, could you imagine?
It doesn't go anywhere. So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
Hit reply, take out their name. So there's no to address.
Yeah.
And then just go into it. Verbal diarrhea. Are you freaking kidding me? This is what I did for you. Blah, 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 blah. Let the email sit for a day.
Yeah.
It's a legit therapy.
Really?
You will feel better the next day, because you're like, I got it off. Because now you got it off your chest. But you did it in such a way that you were able to just verbal diarrhea just explode out without hurting somebody's feelings. Because now that you got it off your chest, you can then take that email, still the to address is gone, edit it, put the flowers in there, put the sugar coat, whatever, and send that back to them. So then you are still above, you're still taking the high road.
Yeah.
You're still good, but you manage to go, I'm going to go dark right now and just blow this shit up. Yeah. Legit therapy. That is legit. Do that. I'm telling you, whether it's a client or Vito, do that. And then just, you'll feel better about everything. But, here's the thing is you talk about positivity, the power of positivity. Absolutely. We've talked about it a few times. A few months ago, I was on cloud 9 and then, some shit happened and whatever. And I just felt myself being dark on the inside and it just didn't help anything else. But you have to, first of all, for I'm so scatterbrained right now, but when you talk about your Apple scenario.
Yeah.
As long as you're a good person, don't give a shit about anybody else. Bottom line. You didn't bring the apples, no big deal. They're not a mean person. They're not going to hold it against you, whatever. They said, don't worry about it. Trust that process.
I know.
Because the only person you're making feel good is yourself.
Yeah.
And it's a perpetual cycle. Because if you do that with an apple, you're going to do that with, oh, you know what? Here's my car or whatever the case is. Kids, right? Kids have a funny way of making parents feel guilty because you love them to the core,
yeah,
and you want them to have everything. Yeah. You do. Like, who doesn't want their kid to have everything? To be what Richie Rich? Remember Richie Rich?
Yeah.
You just arcade games and bullshit here and there and whatever, right? And I talk to my kids about being grateful all the time. Be grateful for what you have. Not what don't worry about what you don't. Be grateful for what you have. And when you're grateful for what you have, you'll get more. But
I say that all the time.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing is, whether it's I want this toy, whether it's I want to go here for dinner or I want to go out and play, as long as you're justified. I've always said, as long as I grew up in an environment that when I asked why, it was because I said so. That was the answer.
Yeah.
And that
was it. We had that all the time.
Because I said so. It's like,
yeah.
What the does that mean? Because I ate my dinner, I cleaned my room, I have no homework because it's July.
Yeah.
But I can't go out and play because you said so.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong?
I heard that all the time.
Yeah, but I try wholeheartedly to not. This is the reason why. Because you upset me. Because I'm disappointed that you did this. Because here's the consequence. And we preach in the house, action, consequences, this, that, and the other thing. But with the kids, whether it's the toy, the dinner, the play with the friends, drive me to work, I don't want to take the bus, whatever. I can't. Doesn't mean you're a bad mother.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's going to build character for them too anyway. The power of positivity, back to the whole thing is it's a lot more difficult to be positive.
100%.
This is, pooping out unicorns and fairy tales and gummy bears, right? Every day.
Yeah.
And la, 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 and this, dancing around. That's difficult every day.
Yeah.
And it's taxing when 80%, 70%, whatever the percentages of people are not like that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I took out that book, The Secret, again.
Yeah.
And I started reading it last night. And
what's The Secret?
The Secret.
What is it?
Well.
Don't tell anybody.
And I'm reading each line and, it's all about your thoughts. Your thoughts create. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And if you keep saying, all I keep getting is terrible clients. I don't have enough business.
That's all that's going to come to you.
And that's all it's going to come to you. And I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so difficult to, so now, I read that book yesterday and I swear it made me feel so good. This morning I went on a power walk and I was like, I'm so grateful for all my deals I get. I'm so grateful for all the new clients I have. I'm so grateful for Eric. I'm so grateful for Monica. I'm so grateful for Sandra. I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for, and it was like, I needed that boost, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, I got to read this book like every so often, even though I think I am a positive person, but we can all get thrown off the track, right?
Absolutely.
And it's all about the outside.
But it's not even about when so you are a positive person. You're always laughing.
Yeah.
I can say whatever, basically almost whatever I want to, and you're always like, "You're so funny."
Yeah, because you are actually very funny.
But it's what's interesting is that you are positive, but it again the internal self, we don't control that. We can't control our subconscious. I don't believe we can, and so in the end. It's all about managing those expectations for yourself and managing them for other people, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is that, when it's taxing on your internal self that you cannot control because of your conscience taking over and because, by the very nature of who the individual is, who you are as a person, it's hard to control how it affects you. The only thing that you can control is when you recognize that is how do you react to that, right? So, you wake up in the middle of the night going, oh my God, I wish I could have helped Eric, and go out for a date night with his wife by watching. No, it's okay for you to go, I wish I would have. But you know what though? I have a home too, and I needed to spend time with my husband.
For sure, and that's the biggest thing.
And that's okay because I know Eric is not upset with me. Or I know so-and-so is not mad, or they told me and I trust them. Yeah. And you go on living, right? You take Carm, for instance. Carm's all about positivity, and she very rarely lets things get her, well, at least from what I see, get things like under her skin. Because she's so resolved in her decisions. She's thought about them. She understands she's not a bad person. She had to say no. She had to give bad news. She had to let an agent go. But that's not because she's malicious, not because she's mean, but because that was the right thing to do and it was a thought out process. So as long as you know that you were intentional in good, even though, it didn't happen, that's all you can really do to judge yourself.
Yeah.
So positivity is difficult when there's so much negativity around us. Yeah. I can't even remember the saying, but it takes how many muscles to smile versus how many muscles to frown. It takes a lot more to go up than it does. I'm pretty sure it's more muscles to smile than it is to frown, I think. Or maybe it's the other way around. I can't remember. I can't frown.
Can you frown?
I can pout. I can pout. But the point is that positivity, being positive with yourself and others is very important. For sure. And, you can kill yourself being worrisome. You can kill yourself being negative. And I don't mean that literally kill yourself, but you can see how it's like smokers, how much they age. Yeah. If you're always negative, that takes a wear on your internal being, and it just kills your inside, and it's killing you from the inside out. And it's not easy.
It's not.
And it's okay to be negative once in a while.
Yeah.
Like I said, the healthy email, like the outlet that you have, that's not being positive. Yeah. You son of a, that's not positive, right? But it's healthy for your inside. Yeah. Then you delete the email so it never gets to the outside world. Yeah. Right? You don't insult anybody. You don't offend anybody, so you're safe there. Yeah. But you were able to give your inner being an outlet to release the built-up pressure.
Well, that's why I was reading an article yesterday. It was saying swearing is actually good for you.
Oh, my God. I fucking love swearing.
Because Carmen used to swear a lot.
She still does. What are you talking about? Used to? Like as in what? Like yesterday?
No, but like I was like,
I'm gonna buy her a semi, right? Just a rig.
A trucker mouth. Love you. Oh yeah.
You swear too, though.
Actually, no.
Yeah, you do.
Do I really?
Oh yeah.
Only when I talk to you.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. But that's the only time I hear you. I don't hear you when you talk to Vito.
No. But that's actually really funny. No, actually, I only swear with you.
Well, then there you go. I bring out the best in people.
Yeah. I do. I find that being positive is, even though it feels good, things go your way when you're positive. I feel like, so many good things happen when I'm in that state. Yeah. Yet I feel like it's always short-lived.
Well, short-lived.
Or maybe I'm like, if I think one day I'm just not Hey, it's great. How you?
People are going to judge you and know what's your problem and why you got resting bitch face or whatever.
Is it okay to not be like that every day?
No, it is. I think it's okay to not be on cloud 9 as long as, again, you're not mean to people.
Yeah.
Or if you do mess up and you are a little rude, you acknowledge it, you ask for forgiveness, you forgive yourself, you move on, right? Like I always like to say, build a bridge, get over it, burn the bridge down, don't look back. Let's just keep going, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think it's bad that you're not here all the time. It's definitely not good if you're here, if we're using the table as the Mendoza line. But you know what? If you're still here, because it is tough, it is a bad day. Think about, when you have somebody close by, like when your dad passed, or, you're not going to be positive. Like there's no positivity there in the moment.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on the scenario, the situation, whatever. And I don't, actually we've never talked about that, so I don't know. But, like my dad passed of a heart attack, didn't even like just boom, done, gone, right? So there was no like long drawn out say goodbye. So there, in my head at the time, no positivity. What is positive about that? Yeah. So it was dark for a while.
For sure.
But you get over it. Right, you figure it out, you get over it, and as long as you're not,
I think you get over it.
Well, you get used to it, or
you just cope with it.
You cope with it. Good.
Yeah,
that's better.
Right.
But I mean, as long as I wasn't mean to people, and if I was, I apologize and I forgive myself because I was under pressure or under emotional stress. Bottom line is, I don't think it's not definitely not easy. No. I don't think it's possible to be at 100%. Every minute of every day.
And it's okay.
And that's okay, because if you're at 70% for the day, for the hour, for whatever, because something happened, maybe you saw a car accident, maybe you saw whatever, a kid fall down and really cry and hurt themselves, break their arm, whatever, and you felt for them and that just bothered you. And you're internalizing for a little bit, and then you lift up and you rise up above it, right? Mm-hmm. So that's okay. So, I think it's okay, but again, it's all about how you react to it. It's all about, do you lash out at people? It's all about, do you hurt people's feelings?
And that's the thing. I will
if you
never.
Don't.
No, and that's the thing. And that's how it is with our business, right? It doesn't matter. People don't know what we go through.
No, they don't know what we go through. Not at all.
And we have to know how to separate,
church and state.
Yeah. And it's like, it's a tough thing to do. It's like, very tough, right?
I mean, your client is not going to qualify, or they're going to be whatever negatively impacted by this decision, or you got to be the bearer of bad news.
It's the worst.
I just had it two weeks ago.
Yeah. And it's like, actually, I have to call these people in a few minutes. Oh my God. And you're sick.
I was mortified. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this because she was fragile as it was.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I found the positive in it. I said, it'll allow you to do this, and this. It doesn't allow you to do 100% of what you want to do, but it allows you to accomplish the majors of what you want to do, which is going to help you here. You find the positivity in it. It was a negative call, but a positive outcome.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, you're always positive. I mean, you, D, and the other D, and your other sister D, Daryl, my other brother Daryl.
Me, my two children.
You and your you, yourself, and you. No, you, Sandra, and Monica are always positive.
Yeah.
And there are times where it's difficult, and you're always laughing, and laughing could be a coping mechanism for some people. You don't know.
No, for sure.
But you know what though? It's not easy. It's not easy, but the power of positivity just helps create more positivity. Not even with yourself, with other people.
Yeah.
Or for other people, for themselves. Yeah. Because one or two things are going to happen. You take TCG and how Carmen runs her agency. If you're not wanting to be part of that ship, you're out.
Yeah.
Whether on your own accord or not. You don't want to be part of this. You don't want to do the motivational Mondays. You don't want to do the little outings. You don't want to come here for Cinco de Mayo. It's fine. You don't want to be part of and not even the motivational Mondays, the Zoom call. I'm talking the the group text message and you don't want to buy into those messages, that's fine. You'll either find the door or the door will find you. So when you're positive, you are good for yourself and you're good for others, for them to be positive too.
Yeah, 100%. What is it? Like, subscribe, share, or is it comment? What is it? Like, comment, subscribe. I'd like to know, what you guys do in becoming positive. Like, do you meditate? Do you read a book? Do you listen to podcasts, about positivity? Tell me what you guys do in order to maintain being positive. Thanks, Eric, for being here. Thanks for always being so positive.
Oh, yeah. I'm the realist. Remember that, eh?
You know what? But nothing's wrong with that.
No. People find it to be negative.
Oh, really? See, I don't.
Because the truth hurts.
Yeah, I know.
That's why.
It's like, but I find that at first you may say something and I may not like it, but then it racks my brain. It's going, and I keep thinking about what you said, and it's like, but he's right. He's right.
I'm
never going to say that again.
Hey, night wife, day wife said, I'm right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Eric.